What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Culture 316 podcast. I'm one of your hosts and producers, Jordan Ahisi, joined with my guy, Banks. Banks, welcome back to the show, bro. Hope all is well with you.
I'm tired. That's just all I will.
I felt that.
No,
Once again,
I'm actually cool right now.
Good, but you got the bucket on, and you threw up the West because it's been a week. But for those of you who are joining, us once again, thank you so much for your continued support. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, be sure to rate the show 5 stars. Per usual, we are going to be doing, well, technically today, we are going to be doing a little 316 space for Money in the Bank. So if you want to join us and build some community, we're going to be over at Culture 316 on X. So be sure to do that. Also, quick announcement for people who've been following me personally. Yes, it is true. I will be on TMZ this Monday for TMZ's Strange and Suspicious. Super grateful for the opportunity. I'm going to be on, I don't know how many episodes we got going on, but it's quite a few. So if you see a segment online, if you see us on TV, be sure to tag me. I think we're going to be on in 12 different cities. New York is one of them. LA is another one. Chicago is another one. Be sure to check your local listings. I know that it comes on at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 Pacific Standard Time in LA. But we ain't here to talk about me. We're here to talk about pro wrestling. So we're going to get right into it. Banks, you were at AEW Forbidden Door this past weekend at the UBS Arena. I didn't get a chance to even watch it. To be honest, I wasn't excited for it. But I plan on watching it and giving my full review because I saw some pretty interesting stuff. But I wanted to know how you felt about Forbidden Door and just kind of some of the things that you noticed.
Did you hear what I just said? I'm not sure because I know I got these bogus headphones. But you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so let me look at the A camera so everybody else hear me. Don't watch that pay-per-view if you didn't already. You see how I look right now? That was me the entire time getting off a 10-hour shift and then going to watch that bull stuff.
So you're telling me it wasn't good?
No, it was not good. Hey, man, I'm not one of these people that hate AEW and love WWE. I like AEW more times than WWE. I like GCW better than some promotions. I like TNA. I like New Japan. I like scaring the hoes wrestling. That's what I like. But that was not good. It wasn't good at all. The best thing about it was being around my brothers, being black announce table. Otherwise than that, I was on Twitter looking to see what was going on with the trades the entire time. That was not pro wrestling. I'm about to put my Bret Hart voice on, do my best Bret Hart impersonation. You know, it's a lot of dumb wrestling that goes on these days. It's kind of like Bill Goldberg. He kicked me. Like, bro, I don't even know what to say. Like, I legit felt like an old head watching that. I was like, what happened to the game I love? What happened to locking up in the beginning? Bro, everybody just want to get a high spot in. Everybody want to get their spots in. Super kick. Everybody got a super kick. Don't talk about the great Jey Uso, who was the best wrestler out right now. Dog, don't talk about that. Or the second best compared to Roman Reigns. I don't want to hear anything about Jey Uso's moveset when I seen dudes spamming not just the same moves, but just doing flippity flips. That Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay match is one of the most boring matches I've ever seen in my life. John Moxley is one of the worst workers I've ever seen in my life, bro. This time. I wasn't a fan before, but then seeing him in person, he couldn't get the great Naito. I pop when I see Naito because I'm a mark. But, bruh, he couldn't get him over. I said, dog, what is this? This dude y'all talk about somebody ain't got no bag, as the kids say. He ain't got no bag. Bleeding, that's the bag, bro. Tell me a story in the ring. That's all I'm saying as a dude that's watched wrestling from the 60s till now. I go back in the archives. Dog, tell me a story. Just don't get a move in. Work a body part, sell. Like that Sasha Banks match versus Stephanie. Bruh, can somebody sell? Please sell a move, bruh. Sell a body part. Please do something. Have some rest holds, something.
I'm glad you put all that into perspective because I mean, maybe I'll still watch it, maybe not. But I don't know
No,
what
no,
it's.
you want to stay awake, don't you?
Yeah,
You
I
got
would
stuff
love
to
to stay
do.
awake. Yeah, I got stuff
Watch,
to do. I got life.
watch the new Beverly Hills Cop instead. Be entertained by that.
You know what it is? I was just talking about this with somebody. As it pertains to AEW, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because the feeling has worn off because it's no longer a new product, but I just don't feel the same way about AEW that I used to, as far as just how exciting and dynamic the product is or the product was. Um, so hearing that from you, I'm not surprised. And on top of that, when it comes to just Forbidden Door, I feel like the novelty and the meaning behind it isn't as big as it used to be because they essentially got all of the talents that the American audience wanted to see from New Japan Pro Wrestling, whether that be Jay White, whether that be Okada. I mean, you have Tanahashi still. Nevertheless, it's one of those like, because AEW has kind of positioned themselves as the wrestling company in North America, a lot of people who wanted to come to North America and work have jumped from New Japan to AEW. And because of that, it's like the whole reason why there was a Forbidden Door was so that we can see those exciting matchups. But like all the people that we want to see are in AEW. The only
And they don't
time
get no time. My fault to
exactly.
cut you off. Jay White, they treating him like Jinder Mahal.
That's crazy. Jinder Mahal is insane. But
And I like
I
Jinder Mahal.
me too. But I feel like the only way that I would be interested in a Forbidden Door moving forward is if it were AEW versus WWE at this point, because it's like between both of those companies, they have all the talent. I'm not really interested in seeing New Japan unless it's like what we're going to be talking about later in the show as it pertains to Wrestle Dynasty. But I'm not really interested in another Forbidden Door. Um, because they've kind of usurped all the talent. And I think that the next discussion that we have to have is y'all used to really get mad at WWE for hoarding talent, but AEW is doing the same thing. AEW is pulling what WWE did 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago upon the heels of the indie revolution, and they're getting all of the guys from all the other companies, and they get a world title shot or a TNT title shot or a 6-way ladder match for the Intercontinental title. I mean the international title, and then crickets. So are you going to hold AEW accountable the way that you did for WWE, or is it just since they're the Democratic Party of pro wrestling, we're just going to let it rock?
It
Oh,
could
okay.
be because of that. But I will say in the past 2 years, he been going back being Triple H, doing what AEW is doing right now. See, people, I can criticize WWE as well. I'm a realist. So he's been collecting talent in the past year, bringing back people
Mm-hmm.
like Braun Strowman. Why is he around? But like, bruh, so he came back, and it's like, cool, he's just there. I will say the people that have come back have contributed in a way, unless you just CM Punk and you just making you putting it's helping Drew, but Drew don't really need you because it's Drew McIntyre who might be the MVP of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just me hating on CM Punk anyway because again, why is he around? What the fuck has he done? He ain't wrestled but twice in the past 3 years, and every time his arm fall off like a Lego character.
But without CM Punk, is Drew McIntyre the MVP that he is now? I feel
Yep,
like
absolutely.
I think Punk brought something out of Drew that wasn't there prior to. I feel like
Yeah,
Drew was
I
kind of
I, I
on
can
that
say that.
path. I feel like Drew was
Yeah,
on that path because of like his work with the bloodline. He was on that path as far as just being the hater of the year. That's without question. I feel like the presence of Punk just took it up a notch and it really solidified him because that's when all the antics came out with the merch and the tweets and all that stuff. I personally feel like CM Punk on a character level brought out the best in Drew McIntyre. We wouldn't have gotten
right.
hater of the year Drew without CM Punk, in my opinion.
Right. And no, I get what you mean too. And again, I can agree and I can disagree, but for the most part, when you make sense and you got common sense like this, man, I can agree with it because I can see the other side of the spectrum when it comes to
Mm.
that. I will say this with him, it was supposed to make him a heel because CM Punk is the baby face for some reason, but what do he call himself? The man of the people. Yeah, all right, cool. The man of the people can't be getting hurt every 5 months, but
Mm.
that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But it was supposed to give him heel heat being Drew, but it actually made him a babyface. And that's the
Mm.
thing too about pro wrestling now because everybody's a babyface. Dog, the only person that's a heel is Dominic because people just generally don't like him because he's really good. You know, the third best wrestler in the world because he's really good at his job.
Right.
So otherwise, than that people don't get heel heat no more because Damien was supposed to be a heel. He ain't
People
a
like him.
heel. Gunther is a baby face, even though he's supposed to be a heel. Chad Gable, hell, is a baby face, and he really is playing a heel. It just, and that's the thing with with AEW going back to Forbidden Door being there. Everybody got a small pop. I say small pop because people. Let me tell you something. I've been to WWE events. All right, I just went to my first AEW event. For that arena to be that small, as far as the people in the crowd, and you could basically hear other people's conversations, that's not good. These
Mm.
reports we're getting are not good. That's not good if you can't draw that much money. But yet y'all have a multi-million-dollar TV deal that's about to expire soon. And then they not saying anything about re-up because you know why? I keep saying over and over, Warner Discovery, they ain't got no money. They ain't want to re-up the NBA, and the NBA probably brings in the most revenue far as media. What makes you think they're gonna bring in AEW and they ain't drawing no money? It ain't looking good, bruh.
The ain't looking good is crazy. I think we're going to end that segment on that note. Let us know how y'all felt about Forbidden Door in the comments below, but we're going to be moving on. So, my brother in Christ has had a change of heart ever since the debut of the Wyatt Six. After their debut on about a month and change ago on Raw, there was a vignette between Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy, and it was kind of laying the foundation, laying the core message and the why of the Wyatt Six, right? Saying, that our family has been kind of pushed to the side and forgotten and disrespected, and they're gonna remember us. And my brother Banks here went from these cats ain't nothing to
No,
now
yeah,
believing in them.
I
So
ain't say
what
that.
caused the change of heart? What caused the change of heart? And
Let
why
me
do you
be
believe in the
clear,
Wyatt
everybody.
Six?
Let me be clear about what I really said. I don't particularly like this mysterious type stuff, like the Black Order and all that, because I wash my body twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. The fans that really like that, sometimes they look like they don't wash their body, so they be in the same Wyatt shirt, the Dark Order, all that. They be in all that. You feel me? So they feel like, you know what I mean? Even the Bullet Club, I had a shirt, but I used to wash mine. And then I used to see people with the Marty Skrull, the
Yeah.
Squirrel Club or whatever, however you announce his name. I'm sorry, people. Dyslexia. And seeing him with his shirt, I'm like, yeah, y'all definitely don't wash up. Anyhow, again, I'm not picking on AEW, but this is what separates WWE from AEW. And they both probably got the same amount of budget. It just, one side knows how to get the right people to work cameras, the other side doesn't. All right. With this Wire 16, it wouldn't work in AEW. Here's why. Because with AEW, if you just want pro wrestling, you go over there. But lately, they ain't been giving us pro wrestling. And that's why I watch AEW for pro wrestling. I like to see pro wrestling, but it ain't too many pro wrestlers over there. It's a bunch of indie darlings that couldn't get over in the indies other than doing flips. But then you go over here with the Wyatt Six and Bo Dallas, who isn't that good of a worker. He can go a little bit, but he don't need to wrestle. You know why? Because it's entertaining. The whole key word here, people, is entertaining. When I
Mm.
listen to music, I want to be entertained. This is why we're saying, hey, 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 you need to run for your life about a dude that's allegedly a pedo. Alright? It's the reason why when we watch basketball, we want to see a certain style of basketball, whether it be N1, NBA. It's because it's entertaining. So with the YS6, it's entertaining to me. Sometimes I jump the gun because I just like being an agent of chaos at times. And I said, I don't know about this stuff.
Mm.
But the one promo from last week was great. This one was even better. He don't need to wrestle. If they just keep telling it because they're sports entertainment, and they said that for years, and now more than ever they sports entertainment. If they just keep cutting promos and trying to jump Chad Gable, that's entertaining enough. where you
Yeah.
don't need to wrestle because you know why? They got wrestlers over there if you just want to see wrestling. But for the most part, they sports entertainment, and that separates AEW from WWE. You get entertainment over here, but yet the pro wrestling company is supposed to give me some type of entertainment, as far as just the wrestling aspect, and I can't get it.
Mm. To kind of piggyback of what you were saying as far as the difference between sports entertaining and wrestling, I feel like purpose separates the two in the sense that WWE is very, very big, at least in the past 2 to 3 years. Very, very big on explaining the why. When it comes to pro wrestling, right? There's only but so many ways you can go about it. As a baby face, oh, I'm the wrestler's wrestler. And then the heel is usually, oh, I'm more entertainment centric. And like after a while, it gets boring. Not everyone is a wrestler's wrestler. Not everyone is a technical specialist. And to be honest, the reason why a Kurt Angle and a Rey Mysterio in WWE popped the way that they did is because they were one amongst they were the one wrestler amongst many sports entertainers. Like these gimmicks only work when you have something to contrast, a crowd to contrast, a person to contrast. Everybody's a wrestler's wrestler or a bad wrestler that nobody's going to pop, nobody's going to stand out. Now, granted, AEW has people that
Hey, you
you
don't
have.
need to pick on Will Ospreay like that. Come on, brother.
Who, me? I'm not.
Yeah,
I actually love Will Ospreay, and I think that his character has the potential to be dynamic. I see a lot of like, I don't know. I
oh,
don't
you
even know.
like them type of promos? All right, but I just want to say I didn't go over there to the W. That's all I hear.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking about him when I was making that point, but I just feel like when it comes to the AEW crowd, I feel like that's what they like. Is just a lot of wrestlers. Will strikes me as just like a working man's wrestler, if that makes sense, which is another, in my opinion, has the potential to be a boring gimmick. Nevertheless, Will is one of those generational talents, and I enjoy watching him wrestler. Now, back to the main point. I feel like the main difference is your why. And seeing the Bo Dallas and Wyatt Six promo and Uncle Howdy being like, so how did you feel when your brother died? That okay. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it. Now we're getting into something and seeing that real reaction and seeing that real story. And now we have something beyond a championship. Now we have something beyond proving that you're the best in the world. We have something of substance because do you know how many people have had to navigate loss and navigate grief and navigate pain and now project it in a way that can be destructive? Now we have a why. And because we have a why, we have something that can go into stories and something that can go out of stories, and they can afford to lose here and afford to win here. It gives them flexibility. So I just feel like that whole promo, that whole vignette was a great way to set the tone for the Wyatt Six. Was a great way to show we have a purpose, we have a why that extends beyond the championship, and we're gonna find a way to extend the legacy of Bray Wyatt without necessarily pimping his name. Because I see Uncle Howdy as just offspring of Bray's imagination, but I don't see him as Bray 2.0. I see all these other characters as offspring of Bray's imagination, but not Bray 2.0. And that's how you do it, by making everyone distinct, but keeping elements within them that remind you of Bray, hence the lamp and all that other stuff. So that was
Let
my
me
thing
say,
about the White Six.
and let me say this: anybody's listening, I'm gonna ask you a question too, rhetorical question, Jordan. You like your job, right?
Love it.
But if you was getting paid, if you wasn't getting paid, would you still work it?
Yeah.
Okay, you still
Not
would.
yeah. Not yeah, but I'm following you. I'm saying yeah because I'm following you.
Okay, so anybody's listening, again, it's entertainment, but at the same time, it's a job, and it's a job. Yeah, I'll probably do it for free, but probably not because I got to get paid. The
Mm.
whole point of pro wrestling, because it's from the carny. Do your research on how pro wrestling started. Yes, it was Greco-Roman, but when it became entertainment, It's because of Carney. That's why you got these terms like, worker, over, all them Carney terms. They come from that. What do you do at a carnival? You go. You have fun. How do you get in a carnival? You still got to pay. All these hundreds of years later, you pay to get into a carnival. Yes, it's going to the vendors. It's going to everybody that's involved. Same thing with pro wrestling. That comes from the Carney era. You still have to pay in order for the workers to get paid, the wrestlers to get paid. It's been that way. The whole point of pro wrestling since then was to make a money gate, so you can get paid. So with the YS6, they don't need to wrestle because we're getting paid to be here, to entertain people, and the merch sales. How they split that up between 6 people, I'm pretty sure they'll make it work, but they're moving merch now. That's the whole point of pro wrestling, people. Not just because I had a 5-star match, which is BS, and I like Dave Meltzer. Shouts out to him. He's from the Bay. But I'm saying a lot of these people on that side care more so about rating, and these indie people care more so about a rating than actually getting to where you need to make money, because God forbid we're going straight into, well, we already inflation, but God forbid we go into a real Great Depression, which is probably upon us. Fingers crossed, but it's probably upon us. You have to make money even if you enjoy doing what you're doing. I love doing podcasting. I love acting. I love everything else I do outside of working for this bullshit company. Excuse my language. But I'm saying, if I didn't make some money eventually from all this stuff, I probably wouldn't do it as much as I enjoy it, because I definitely don't enjoy doing this, and I make money from it.
Right. And we're on that note. Let us know how you feel about the Wyatt Six and their debut, the They Will Remember Us. We're going to move from one return to another debut. And that debut was on the SmackDown, I think it was a couple weeks ago, Madison Square Garden. We saw the Bloodline Appreciation Ceremony, and we also saw the first entrance of the newest member of the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu. Now, it has been rumored that he was going to be joining WWE and specifically joining the Bloodline since around WrestleMania season. They said that he had signed a contract with WWE, but we didn't really hear much from him. And then we saw Jacob debut by attacking Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, standing next to Tama Tonga, standing next to Solo Sikoa, and officially joining the Bloodline. I want to know your reaction. I need to know how you feel about the debut of Jacob Fatu, and what does this mean for the Bloodline?
Again, Bay Area stand up. Bay Area out there. I'm from LA, but the Bay know how I give it up when it comes to them. Pause. Hey, listen, I've been a fan of his since MLW. Seen him in GCW. This is all. See, again, they get it factor people being WWE. I'm not trying to bully AEW again, people. I'm just telling y'all how I am, because I talk a lot of trash about WWE too, a lot this year. I talk a lot of trash about Cody Rhodes, so y'all really probably ain't know about that. I ain't with it. It's making money though. Again, it's making money, but I ain't a Cody Rhodes fan. So with Jacob, I've seen him forever, and then when the rumors came out, I was like, okay, so guess what's gonna happen when he gonna come over there? He's going to be a draw instantly. And guess what happened 24 hours later? He sold merch, because that's what it's all about. And he dropped weight. So now he's... All right, so I feel like with the Tama Tongas, everybody else that they might bring, a lot of these guys probably on best minimum contracts. You feel me? They're going to get 1.2 mil and get up out of there in a year or two. But with Jacob, he could be a lifer. He could be world champion. Yeah. That's what the WWE does. They get it factor guys. As soon as he showed up and I seen him in shape, you know what I mean? I said, that's it. Here's your here's your next world champion. He's already a seasoned vet. Booker T helped vouch for him. He has his life in order now. Yeah, people was like, yeah, he's an ex-convict and all that. Dog, he without saying cast the first stone. All right, he did what he had. We from California, dog. We don't grow up that nice. It look nice, but then we don't grow up that nice when you from certain parts of California. Let's just say that. So we get it how we live it. And then don't be fooled by the palm trees, all right? But no, he's the It Factor guy. When he showed up, I said, okay, I guess I got to watch SmackDown again. I don't care if he on screen for 2 minutes. You feel me? Just that's it. This is the next guy. I'm definitely about to buy that shirt. I still got to get my Jey Uso shirt, and you see how all the lines, all these Fatus making all the money in pro wrestling right
now. Man, let me tell you something. When they decide to debut your entrance and your entrance music at Madison Square Garden, they not playing about you. They're not playing about you. Jacob, like you said, I was a fan of him when he was in MLW. I was a fan of his work prior to WWE, not just who he was in the ring, but just like as a person. Dude is he's a real dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking
I know what
at
you want to say, but you ain't gonna say it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say. Yeah, because he a real one.
As soon as you hear him talk, you like, all right, bet.
Exactly. Like in my mind, I'm waiting for this man to get on the mic. Like, and when he does get on the mic, it's gonna be something crazy.
Ready.
It's gonna be they're not ready.
I'm gonna hear the accent jokes. I'm gonna hear the accent jokes already.
But I'm looking at just the branding and the marketing of him, known as the Samoan Werewolf. Like, such a genius spin, right? Like, they could market that in so many ways. The logo is already tough. The merchandise is already tough. Like you said, he showed up in shape. And by the way, because I do feel like the body image conversation when it pertains to pro wrestlers has been a very controversial one, to say the least. Anyone of any shape, of any size can wrestle. However, what businesses do is that they don't invest into what people complain about. They invest into what people buy into. Look at the top guys. Look at the top girls. Most of them physically fit, you know what I'm saying? Muscular, cut, shredded, whatever. Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns, not just because he's the longest reigning undisputed WWE. The man is a sex symbol. I go to my gym. The girl at the front desk at my gym does not watch wrestling at all. She saw Roman Reigns' picture. She's like, next time he is in LA, I'm outside. That's the point. That's the point.
I knew he was that guy. We've been knowing forever because we watch pro wrestling. But last year, when he really was like up here, oh no, it was some women like on TikTok. I was seeing, of course, it's the sisters. They really love him. They love all the Samoans, but yeah, they love him. They was like, oh no, who was that? Like it was dudes recording their wives like, yo, who was that? That's the whole point again. What Mr. Nahisi is saying, and that's what we saying. You gotta make the money. You gotta be a draw. People in AEW, like you just said, a lot of them not in shape. They just indie guys. They just bloated or they skinny as hell. It's an image business. Coming from two guys that are part of the image business. You can't just get on stage with a gut out with lean unless you're a Detroit rapper, but they're great. So they can do that. But at the same time, for that type of business, for acting, we have to see how you look. You have to look away because you got to draw money, not just do 1,000 super kicks and high spots and jumping off the top of ladders and going through tables. Nobody give a shit about that. The people with the real money, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Them people that be in Brooklyn, that's all I can really say with the small hats. They gonna spend the money on stuff that they know they're gonna get their money back on.
Yeah. Listen, and I knew exactly what you meant by that. But yeah, when it comes to Jacob, I'm super excited for his trajectory. I think he's going to be a star. I think he's going to be a lifer. Once again, you make your entrance in the guard. I don't think y'all understand what Madison Square Garden means to WWE. I don't think that y'all understand what Madison Square Garden means to New York City. And because of that, I don't expect some of y'all to get it. But Jacob, he's him. He's him. And a bigger conversation that I wanted to parlay this into. I'm thinking about the OG bloodline. Roman Reigns, longest reigning WWE Universal Champion. The Usos, longest reigning tag team champions. Sami Zayn, multiple time Intercontinental Champion. Paul Heyman, arguably the greatest manager. No, not even arguably, the greatest manager of all time. And now, because of this new chapter of the bloodline that is still considered the bloodline, you have a guy in Solo who could be a world champion. You have Gorillas of Destiny, whose presentation has been so clean. We haven't even been talking about them being former IWGP World Tag Team Champions. Have the potential to be another one of the goated WWE Tag Team Champions. And we have discussed that Jacob is also someone who could be a future world champion. You have 8 members of one faction who have 4 of them are already Hall of Fame locks. The other 4 have Hall of Fame potential. When all is said and done, do you think that the Bloodline could be the greatest faction of all time when it comes to WWE?
So I saw somebody that said, but people talk all the time. They said it becomes a parody of NWO. I don't think so because you just
It's not.
broke it down. They could stand on their own merits, and you know who they are outside of just WWE. And there's no disrespect to NWO because Scott Norton was Raw. What's my dude name? He did a whole 180 when he got his looks over there. Pause. Brutus the Barber. He
Yeah.
came over there. Virgil, you know the names. So it's Hall of Famers, but at the same time, they kind of became afterthoughts because it was so many people. Where it's like, all right, cool. It's Hulk and it's Mach by default as the leaders of NWO, and it really didn't even look like Mach being Macho Man. Whereas the Bloodline, like you just said, these guys are known outside of WWE. Or now that they with WWE, it's kind of like if they disband the Bloodline even today, they can get their own stuff cracking. And then they about to bring the one that walked like Herman Monster. I forgot his name, but he was with part of Buddha Club as well. He part of the family too, but
Hikuleu.
yeah, Hikuleu. Like he walked like Herman Monster. Like him. He walked like the Great Khali for real. Like
That's a
him,
fact.
he come over there cool. He just gonna be the muscle. But even though they got they Samoans. Hell, they the muscle at 5 years old. But with him, he come over there cool. I guess you just gonna be tall, bro. You just gonna be the tall Samoan with us. But Zilla keeps saying he about to come through and not shit. Zilla is cold on his own merits too. I'm glad he got his mind back and went back to reality of wrestling with Booker. He's supposed to be at House of Glory, so if I'm in town, I'm gonna definitely try to tap in and check him out. He should be up there ASAP too, because yes, he's a work in work in progress. I should say. I'm sorry about that, work in progress. But at the same time, he better than a lot of NXT workers. I can't hold you. Like, bro, let's keep it a bean, bro. He better than a lot of development at NXT.
I just think that beyond that, because I haven't even assessed anybody from NXT that well. I do know that their product is really, really good right now. What I do know is that Booker puts out some really good products from Reality of Wrestling, based on just the people that we've seen that have come from under Booker's tutelage. Because the Usos were under his tutelage. Roxanne was under his.
Rikishi don't like his sons. Now he do, but
now he do is crazy. But nah, I feel like Reality of Wrestling Booker has a lot of quality products that come from under him. So I'm not surprised about that at all. But anyway, I was gonna say we're gonna move on. I want to know how y'all feel about Jacob and what it means for him to debut, for him to be a part of the bloodline. Leave a comment below. We're gonna be moving on because a couple weeks ago, WWE announced a partnership with Indiana Sports Corporation. For those of you who don't know, Indiana Sports Corporation is the organization that oversees the Sports Commission of Indiana. They are the ones that kind of bring in events. They kind of manage whatever sport assets are in the city, or at least one of the organizations that manage the sport assets in the city. They have recently hosted the U.S. Olympic trials. They have announced a partnership with WWE that means that they're going to be bringing in SummerSlam. They're going to have a WrestleMania in Indiana, and also they are set to host the 2025 Royal Rumble. How do you feel about WWE partnering with Indiana Sports Corporation to kind of host these big four events in Indiana, and mostly in Indianapolis?
Unless they had the Indie Animals, I don't even care. If y'all don't know who the Indie Animals is, look that meme up. When them dudes that was dancing, yeah, had them up. But nah, this is cool. I guess Indiana. Look, I still ain't tapped into Indiana, and I just found out something very interesting. I heard they got some talent in Indiana, so I need to go out there. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I heard they need to go out. I need to go out there. I know Jeff T, because Club 520 is one of my favorite, probably top three current favorite podcasts out. He's a huge wrestling mark. He's like, bro, I gotta go through. Y'all gotta get me on WWE. So when they do that, I'm like, yeah, I'm for sure behind WWE. But I mean, it's a market out there. I guess there's money coming through Indiana now because low key people probably like, hey, because I've heard nothing. You got to be honest, but bad things about Indiana my entire life.
I'm weak.
Like my people from Chicago be always talking about if you go to Gary, just get some gas and leave. That's it. So I don't know much about Indiana outside of that, but they might be bringing in some money now. I don't know. I just need to tap in. Listen, man, I can't slander Indiana too much because he do lame stuff, but Freddie Gibbs, one of my favorite rappers ever. Uh, the GOAT, the literal greatest of all time, Michael Jackson from Gary.
Indiana. Yeah.
Jackie Young, one of my favorite basketball players for the Aces, for more reasons than one. She from Indiana, so I ain't got no problem. I mean, Jeff Teague, I listen to Club 520, they from Indiana, but I mean, maybe this is the Pat McAfee effect. I don't know.
I think it's the Pat McAfee effect. I think it's also Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers. Very big WWE fan. He came out with Logan Paul at the Garden. When they went to Indiana, they got some Tyrese 317 merch, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's Pat, it's Tyrese. You combine that with the fact that All-Star Weekend was just their last weekend, and I feel like Nick Khan, WWE, compared to where they were 2 to 3 years ago, are very tapped in with the rest of the sports world, rest of the entertainment world. They're trying to capitalize on whatever momentum is already existing. So when you have a city that, you know, that one is probably not that much money to produce events in, but two has the momentum of a place like Indiana. Pacers are starting to see some playoff success. All-Star Weekend is already there. Pat McAfee is obviously one of the biggest sports people in the biz and is known for representing Indiana because of his affiliation with the cult. You want to capitalize off of that momentum. Plus, you have, you know, WWE has people and partners in that city that can help curate the city and gather the city around this event with Tyrese and Pat. So I think it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm very interested to see how the weather is going to be, considering that I believe Nick Khan told Sports Business Journal that he wasn't trying to do any East Coast cities for WrestleMania season, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm curious to see how that's going to turn out. Maybe they ran them the bag. So we'll see what happens. But I'm interested in what everybody else thinks about WWE announcing the partnership with Indiana Sports Corp. Let us know in the comments below, but we're going to be moving on. Because speaking of announcements, New Japan Pro Wrestling has just announced Wrestle Dynasty. It seems like after Wrestle Kingdom, which is slated to be a 2-day event, New Japan is going to be presenting Wrestle Dynasty, which is going to be a super show, which pretty much features every major wrestling promotion except for WWE. So this includes CMLL, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and Stardom. Wanted to know how you feel about this. How do you feel about Wrestle Dynasty? How do you feel about all these companies coming together to create this kind of super show?
They got to do it. They only got 5 wrestlers left in New Japan.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you said earlier. All the American talent or overseas talent from Europe, they end up, cooning and taking the bag from AEW. But I don't know what's the white cooning. I'm sorry. But they end up going over there. That's cool because again, New Japan, love them, but ain't nobody over there, and everybody that's over there old. So Ibushi old, Naito old. I mean, the list go on and on. So it's like, cool, yeah, just that's fine. I mean, I can't do no 6-7 hour pay-per-view every day like they usually do. You know what I mean? Like with the New Japan when it's the tournament, love it again, but it'd be like, brother, I can't do 3-hour pay-per-views for a week straight. I ain't got that much time in the day. It's taking me 2 days just to watch 48 hours. I'm trying to watch these Eddie Murphy movies before I watch Beverly Hills Cop because I can't stay awake. So I don't know. But no, it's cool. Get some money. It's gonna be entertaining, and God bless everybody that gotta take them flights though. I gotta take one later on this year out there. That's 18 hours, brother. I'm like,
Yeah, that
I don't know
that
what I need. Maybe I need to be like Drake and pop beans, but you see what's the results for him doing all that, as that picture showed today.
popping beans is crazy. But to kind of
What do you
piggyback off of
do
what you
on a 18-hour flight though?
sleep. I've been to Japan before, so I've done it. Like it's no joke. It's very very weird to be on a flight that long, especially when you're not used to flying for even more than like 5 or 6 hours. It's one of those like you just kind of have to stay where you at. It's not really a pleasant experience unless you're flying first class, so that's
Right.
something to probably consider for them as well. But as far as the show is concerned, Wrestle Kingdom is supposed to be 2 days. Wrestle Dynasty is supposed to be the third day. Um, so it's
Wow.
like it's essentially a weekend of WrestleManias. Like I
Yeah,
think
but
it's a little
six
bit
hours a day.
6 hours a day. I was gonna say that. I was gonna also say it's a little bit different than WrestleMania in the sense that WrestleMania is night one, night two. They've evolved to like 3 to 4 hours apiece, and then you have Monday Night Raw, right, which is a 3 hour show. Now, it's pretty similar in duration, off by like 2 to 3 hours. But I think that because of the severity of Raw compared to the severity of Mania, it gives viewers a break. If you're trying to do Wrestle Kingdom and then Wrestle Dynasty, which is essentially kind of a third day of Wrestle Kingdom, it's so much. And my biggest concern, while I think that it can be great, my biggest concern is, are people going to be fatigued by the time Wrestle Dynasty comes? Because of if Wrestle Kingdom is their WrestleMania, that means that all stories are wrapping up. That means that all the big 5-star matches are happening around that time. I know that Bryan Danielson said that that was one of the things that he wanted to do before he retired was to participate in a Wrestle Kingdom. So, is he even going to be if they're still doing this Wrestle Dynasty, if he is he going to be physically cleared to wrestle on January 5th, regardless of, which day he wrestles for Wrestle Kingdom. But I feel like there's gonna be a lot of fatigue. I'm not gonna drag it any longer, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot of fatigue. And while this can be a money grab, I feel like it should be something that's maybe like a month or 2 months later, as opposed to something that's happening right after. But then again, I think that the point is for this to be in Japan, and I feel like if you want to kind of engage with the people that are already there, it's probably best to do it around Wrestle Kingdom time because cats ain't going from America to Japan all the time. But anyway, let us know how you feel about about this Wrestle Dynasty. But we're gonna be moving on. So this past episode of AEW Dynamite, we saw two major heel turns. One was Hangman Adam Page. The other one was Maxwell Jacob Freeman, better known as MJF. It's not concerning, but it is very, very interesting that both of these character changes happened one right after the other, considering the stories behind both of them. But I wanted to know how you felt. Um, but yeah, let me know how you how you felt.
You know, hey man, great worker. I'm not mad at this. They been trying to push him as heel. He done it a couple times where he's been heel. That's cool. He gonna have a program with the elite for like a week, and then after that, he gonna have a program probably with Dustin Rhodes, Goldust. After that, I don't even know because they ain't got but 5 workers, even though they got a roster of 200. Chris Jericho fat ass be on the screen every day. He all up in the videos. Uh, they got so much other talent. The big honk. I'm sorry. Who was the big dude that was with before I talk? Who was the big dude that was? He had a program with Hobbs. He don't be on screen no more as well.
Uh,
Hobbs, big white dude.
Warlow.
There you go. Where's he? Where's Ricky Starks?
Mm.
See, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to them. You got all these guys that are a draw, but yet I see Chris Jericho walking around. And it was cool to see Chris Jericho in person because I've been watching him since 97. That was cool. I got that off the wish list. Even though, you know what I mean, he built like Roseanne Barr. That was still cool to see. Um, so Hangman Page, hey, in the words of Club 520, get well soon. Now, MJF, dog, trash. I'm over it. I gave this young man 4 years. I tried. I was like, he had some moments. I was like, all right, cool. I see what you doing like last year. You know what I mean? You doing the babyface thing. I was like, all right, cool. Dog, I'm over it. I'm done. You will heal all the time. That's fine. Cause that's how you make your bread. But it's the same damn thing. He gonna get on TV and he gonna say what he did to Daniel Garcia. I don't know what's up with Daniel Garcia. I can't figure this dude out. He can work. He do a lot of Paul stuff, but you know that ain't for me. That's for them people.
Hmm.
Cool. He can't cut a promo. He could work, but he can't cut a promo. It's like they keep like feeding him to people just for him to get beat up, just for him to do the job. But now you about to do the job to a dude who you shouldn't really do it because you kind of more popular than him right now. Because let's be clear, MJF is MJF. He ain't they bread and butter in the company. You know why? Because they don't have a number one guy. And if they do, it might be Chris Jericho because, again, he always on my screen. And he get the most TV time. If y'all think I'm lying, go look at the past couple of weeks. Because he always got a new program. He always got a new stable. He always got a new gimmick. So maybe it's Chris Jericho. But with MJF, dog, it's over, man. I try to give John Moxley the benefit of the doubt. I seen him in person trash. MJF, he could work, but trash. It's the same thing. He gonna come out next week. He gonna say something about why he beat up Daniel Garcia. He gonna curse. He gonna probably say something racial, knowing him, and that's what it's gonna be. Am I tripping though?
I don't think you're tripping. I understand what you're saying. I don't think that MJF is trash. I don't think that the Hangman heel turn was trash either. But
let me ask you a question.
Hold on. We're gonna go ahead.
Right. Let me ask you, I gotta do one of them things. I gotta do the Harlem thing. Let me ask you a question. That's all they say in Harlem. Let me ask you, and I'm from Harlem. That's all they say. Let me ask you a question. And y'all think I'm cutting promos today. Let me talk. I could talk about Harlem for 20 minutes. I got to shoot promo about that, but I digress. But I'm saying, what makes him good?
I just think that, like you said, like I feel like anytime he has been in the ring, he has been able to successfully tell a story, which contrasts a lot of the AEW roster. I feel
what story is he telling? And I'm look.
Depends on the feud. Depends on the feud.
Let me be clear. I love Brother Jordan. That's the only reason why I be showing up, because I love him. I love the other woman, but she be pissing me off. I love the woman, but she be pissing me off. Not other woman, but I love the woman, but she be pissing me off. That's neither here nor there. But I'm saying, when I care about something, this is how I get people, and this is how it's supposed to be. Because y'all listen to trash ass Stephen A. Smith coon. My boss man got me on ESPN. See that thumbs up? That thumbs up if y'all can see it. Agrees about Stephen A. being a coon. I don't know if that's your people. No disrespect, but you from Brooklyn, he from Queens, so never mind.
He from Queens. I mean, he's still New York, so that's my guy. But keep going.
No, but I'm saying I'm talking like this because we have to have banner back and forth in order to show get over. So I understand what you're trying to say, but it's like, dude, let me ask you this. So he just re-up on his contract, right? Because he wanted more money. It's rumored he wanted more money than Roman Reigns to go to WWE, and you out your fucking mind. You think you can get Roman Reigns money, bro? You can't even get Chad Gable money.
Did he get Roman Reigns money though?
Probably from AEW. He was trying to get it. That's the rumor. And
so he got what was relative, like what was proportionate.
At AEW, no, he probably got Roman Reigns money in AEW. Sasha Banks got Roman Reigns money in AEW. What they said she getting like $4 million a year, something like that. 2 to 3, 4.
I haven't seen the numbers, but it gotta be some millions. It gotta be some M's.
Never mind. I don't let me get started on her either. But no, that's what he was asking for allegedly in WWE. Now I don't get into the dirt sheets, but I do. I'm gonna say I believe that. I don't want to say what race, what doctors, but in the words of Kanye, but they serious about their paper. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm inclined to agree that. I don't want you to get in trouble, so let me relax, because I know, you know what I mean, we cracking jokes, people, but then They gonna think I'm on some other stuff. I'm not. I'm being the
Right.
realist. Everybody should be like them when it comes to their paper.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at MJF in that regard. But no, go ahead, brother. All I was trying to say is what makes him good, because let's say 4 years from now, it's because he probably on a lifetime deal with AEW, and he only got 2 years left anyway. So this 2 year deal he on before they go out of business. What makes him good? Because it's
I
gonna be
feel
the
like
same thing.
I feel like I mean, like just based off of what I've observed from him, I just feel like he's been able to successfully make moments as it pertains to AEW. And I don't know if that's saying more about MJF or if it's saying more about AEW. I just feel like he's been able to make moments while he's there, and I feel like he's been able to tell good stories while he's there. But
I
this
was
is my
real laughing because you said AEW.
huh?
Look, I try not to talk too much. I'm like, why is he talking this much, dog? It's just we having a great conversation, so I'm gonna shut up. But it's like my favorite moment from AEW is Jay Cargill versus Brandy Rose.
First of all, don't even get me started about that, because now then I'm gonna be going into Brandy's promo, and I don't want to do that.
I
But
like that promo. Yeah, go ahead.
but here was my main point of concern. It wasn't even MJF or Hangman. My main point of concern was what this does to Adam Cole. There was this whole thing of MJF trusting Adam Cole and Adam Cole being the devil, and there was this year-long build to this match, and then now Adam Cole finally turns on MJF. Adam Cole gets injured. He starts the Undisputed Kingdom, right? With Bennett, Taven, Wardlow, and Roddy, and apparently them trying to recruit Kyle. And then it's like now he's heel. All right, cool. Now he's heel. They bring Adam Cole back in a surprise segment on not Forbidden Door, but the pay-per-view before that. And then MJF returns. And it's like, oh my God. MJF comes in as this monster baby face. He's wearing the leather jacket like Hunter in '02. He comes in, he beats Adam Cole up, and it kind of insinuates that their feud is next. Ideally with MJF being the babyface and Adam Cole being the heel. What good does it do to turn MJF heel again if the idea was for him to go against Adam Cole, unless it's gotten to a point where Adam Cole where it's just like he's forced to retire or he's probably going to be leaving the company soon.
He asked her. That's what I want to say, because I had to ask my brother, like, what happened to Adam Cole? Because I thought he was just on the sidelines because they don't know how to book. He was like, no, he's still hurt. I said, dog, he's been hurt for like a year off an ankle injury.
Yeah.
And then before that, didn't he get hurt before that?
I think so. I'm not too completely sure. And he may have gotten hurt.
And then this is a guy, going back to bodies, this is a guy that wasn't in the greatest shape before, but he has some type of shape on him. Pause. He lost weight. I'm like, bro, I know that's crazy.
That was crazy.
That's crazy. My fault. There you go. I said pause though. That was crazy.
Yeah. I respect it.
Nobody edited that. No, but he lost weight even more, and it's like, yeah, I don't think you're supposed to be losing weight like that, big dog. You already wasn't, you know what I mean? You was only 150 back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he has to retire, bruh. And Kenny Omega, I think he for sure got to call it, because he almost lost his life recently. It's like, bruh, it's too many occurrences where you got hurt 2 years ago. You had vertigo, you had a shoulder, you had ankle. He was like the SpongeBob meme with the fish that had all the cast and all that.
Yeah.
He was literally that. Now he almost lost his life. It's like, bruh. But for MJF, you see all that. That should make you say, damn, I got to pick it up from my company. Let's go back to the E once again. Every single time the top guys have left the E, if you go to the 90s, somehow somebody picks up that quote unquote brass ring and decides, I'm going to put the company on my back. Stone Cold, The Rock, 1A, 1B, however you want to flip it, that's what it is. But then when Stone Cold got hurt, The Rock became that guy. Then Triple H try to become that guy, but he's not that guy, pal. And that's a whole conversation I could have at a later time about Triple H. Then when you get to the 2000s, John Cena,
Mm.
Batista was right there. I also want to say how we talked about earlier about like wrestling, like pro wrestling. We had the root. Me and you the same age. We come from the ruthless aggression. Well, I'm a little bit older than you. I'm older than everybody, but we come from the ruthless aggression era. You
Yep.
got sports entertainment and you got wrestling. All be on SmackDown. So
Yeah.
they've had their moments where even the pro wrestlers can also have fun. Booker
Yeah.
T is a pro wrestler of pro wrestlers, obviously, because we talked about reality wrestling earlier. Then
Yep.
you got Paul London, Brian Kendrick, who did sports entertainment, but they could wrestle.
They
Like a
could
mother.
wrestle.
They can go. All right. So we had that era. But with AEW, my thing is you don't have a it guy like I talked about earlier that's supposed to pick it up with these former New Japan talents like Kenny Omega or Adam Cole. And it's just that's my problem with him. And I'm saying he's trash because he's going in business for himself. That's an old term, brother, wrestling term. He's going in business for himself. And it's like, where's the evolution for this company, let alone you, when you keep doing the same song and dance, and then y'all gotta wonder why, because they care about ratings more than anybody. Like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
TNA don't get no ratings and they doing fine and they keep a TV deal and they probably about to get bought out by WWE, maybe, and they not worried about it because they gonna still get some type of money and they've been around for 20
Forever.
some years and they still want to. They probably my second favorite promotion in history, if not number one. And WCW, believe it or not, people, TNA is probably my favorite promotion of all time, and then WCW, and then WWE. So I'm not taking WWE side, but it's just the point of these companies always had some type of person to carry the mantle over, whether it be former talent from WWE or they just built people up like AJ Styles. So
Mm.
my fear, or not fear, my thing is with MJF, I'm calling him trash. Why are you not trying to pick up the mantle to become the biggest draw in the company, even though by default they don't have a big draw?
Mm.
Like the least trying to make themselves the biggest draws. It just, I don't, it's just a bunch of VPs, is just a bunch of people that have no idea what they're doing. And then if I'm a young MJF, all right, cool, let me become the Stone Cold of this company. And he doesn't have the potential to be because it's the same thing.
That's a very, very interesting point. Time-wise, we're running low. So I'm going to ask the people what they think about MJF turning heel, Hangman turning heel. I think these are very, very interesting developments. Sure to provoke some conversation. Leave your comments below, but we're going to be moving on. We got 2 WWE shows this weekend. We have Money in the Bank and we have Heat Wave. So naturally, we got to give predictions, okay? So let's give our predictions. We're going to start with, I'm not even going to say the bottom of the card. I'm just going to say that the card that is not a high stakes match or a championship match, which is Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline. Who do we say?
I'm going with the Bloodline.
I can't hear you.
My fault. You can't hear me? Let's see.
You should be good.
You still can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, my fault. I'm going with the Bloodline.
Same. I think that this new version of the Bloodline needs to be put over. They need to be established. And I think that if the idea is for them to be as dominant as the last version of the Bloodline, there needs to be justification as to why they can pursue championships. This would put them in that conversation. Beating Cody, who is a WWE champion, Randy and KO, who are also former WWE champions, would do that for them. So I think the Bloodline is going to win that one. Then for the Intercontinental title, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. Who do we have?
It should be Braun Breaker because I've never liked Sami Zayn.
I'm going to go Braun. I think Braun's taking it.
I hope so. And Sami Zayn just retired. How about that? But it definitely should be Braun Breaker.
I think Braun is definitely going to take it for sure. He has it. He has it for sure. So I'm going to go Braun with that one. This gives me Rock versus Brock SummerSlam 02. in the sense that I feel like this championship match has the potential to be the coming out party on the main roster for Braun Breaker. So going from that, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, WWE World Heavyweight title.
Damian Priest. Because Seth Rollins need to go home anyway. You need to sit there. He was supposed to sit down. He definitely need to sit down. But I'm going with Damian Priest.
Damian? Copy. I'm going to go with... I think I'm going to go with Damian too. I feel like this would solidify him as someone that is not a transitional champion. So Damian, I got him on that. Now for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark.
The one that said black bitch. I'm sorry, Tiffany Stratton.
I'm going to go with Tiffany Stratton as well. That was mad funny. And now for the men's. And I think we kind of all know who this one's going to be. Jey Uso versus Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade versus Chad Gable versus LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
It's going to be the Yeet father himself because Drew is probably going to get costed by that jabroni CM Punk. So I'm going with the Yeet father. Can you give me the names again? I'm sorry.
It's Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious it might be Jay, but that'd be crazy if it end up being Chad.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Chad. Because he's been losing a lot. And I feel like there's a major change that's about to happen. But I do still see Jay winning. I still do.
Because he needs something. He needs some type of achievement because the past 4 years he's came close or he's gotten beat up. Having a world title match and the IC title match with Gunther. So he has to have something. Well, he don't need it, but I feel like they should give him, something. Pause.
Yeah. I agree.
There's gonna be money in the Yeet. That's what it's gonna be called.
That joint is. Somebody said I forgot. I think it was like a graphic that said "Yeet in the Bank."
There you go. That's it.
But that concludes the Money in the Bank predictions. Let us know how y'all feel in the comments below. Now we're going to be moving on to NXT Heatwave predictions. My screen just went black, so I'm just going to pull it up on my notes. It's back. Heatwave predictions. We're going to start with the pre-show match. We have Ariana Grace and Carmen Petrovic versus JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. Who do you have?
I don't even know who that is in my country black voice. Crunchy Black. I'm sorry for 3-6 Mafia. I don't even know who that is.
Well, I'm gonna go with Ariana Grace and Carmen Petrovic. The next match is the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus Chase U. Who do we have in that? Axiom?
Bruh,
I can see them.
If I see their faces, I know who they are, but I don't even know who.
You don't know them off the top of the head. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Chase U. I feel like they need something, and they haven't been able to get pretty much of anything. And there's been some tension building between Frazier and Axiom for a minute. I'm gonna go with Chase U. Next is you'll know this one. Next is the Women's North American Championship match: Keilani Jordan or Sol Ruka.
We all win. I'm going with Keilani.
I'm going to go with Keilani as well. Now for the North American Championship match. Oba Femi versus Wesley.
Oba Kunta.
Oba Kunta is crazy. I'm actually going to go with Wesley. I think he's going to pull a baby Cody and finish the story. So I'm going to go with Wesley. Next is the Women's Championship match. Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice. Who do we have?
Roxanne, and she on like a John Cena run right now, baby. It's time to go to the main roster.
Yeah, literally.
You done ran it up enough.
You done ran it up, bro. I'm gonna go with Roxanne as well, but yeah, she's been doing damage. And next, I believe is a The next is the Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Championship, which is Trick Williams versus Javon Evans versus Ethan Page versus Shawn Spears.
I guess Trick.
I'm going to go with Trick as well. I feel like Javon's going to have a nice little breakout performance as well, though. But those are our predictions for NXT
Wait,
Heat
hold on.
Wave.
Where's Jada Parker at? She ain't got no match.
I don't think she's on the card.
See, that's the problem with NXT, bro. She was supposed to win the NXT Women's title, the mid card title. She was supposed to win that. Hell, I would have gave her the NXT Men's title, the World title.
Not the World title. I think she's gonna win it. I think she's gonna be the next challenger to Kelani, and when she does, she's gonna win it. I feel like she's gonna be the one. Like what Adam Cole meant to the NXT title is what I feel like Jada Parker is gonna be to the Women's North American title. She's going to be the longest reigning. She's going to have the most defenses. I feel like she's the one that's going to solidify that championship because that's how it normally goes. Faces are good for the moment and heels are the ones that establish prestige. That's my little theory. But let us know how you feel about NXT Heatwave and Money in the Bank and your predictions. But that concludes our show for today. Banks, thank you so much once again, bro, for being on. I appreciate you. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Woo, 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 woo.